I can't imagine why. Did he not buy for everybody, or what's going on? That is, what was that guy not thinking there? That is amazing what people are doing nowadays. Wow.
Well, guess what? This one company has a good idea because they figure a lot of their employees go to the bathroom and use the cell phone. They use the bathroom as an excuse to call people or look at Facebook or whatever while they're in the bathroom. Well, they have a new test going. Now they have a very strict time limit, and you have to pass the smell test.
What? Oh my goodness, you made me joke on that one.
Well, that's what it says here.
So they got a professional smeller now. Now they've had to hire somebody else, professional smeller, that's at the door. So when you come out, they're sniffing you over to make sure you did what you're supposed to do and wasn't on Facebook. Oh my goodness.
I don't know. Well, in Florida, they found a leg sticking out of an alligator.
Whoa, boy.
But they actually figured the alligator wasn't the device that killed him. It was from a drug meth overdose that killed him.
Wow, I don't know how they got to that conclusion, but anytime you see a leg sticking out of an alligator, that's usually a red flag that person's in a bad way. Yeah, one way or another, I'll tell you, that's not good. Wow.
Another habit in Mississippi, you do not want to carry, well, actually nowhere. Don't put your cell phone in your front pocket. Because if the battery decides to burst into flames, you could have an issue for the rest of your life.
Yes, because the batteries are lithium. And all it takes is one drop of water, whether it's perspiration or if it gets shorted out from a coin or keys or something, some way or another it does that, you instantly will have a 3,000-degree explosion and fire. And that is no joke. That is serious.
Well, I don't know. It's true. I've actually seen a battery explode. Just literally explode. And if that was in your pocket, I tell you what, it would do a lot of damage to you. Let alone if people have had them go off next to their ears. They have killed people where they had them in their shirt pocket, where all of a sudden the phone just blows up. If you got a cell phone and you're using it and it gets extremely, extremely hot, that's time to replace that battery with a new battery. And don't be cheap when it comes to batteries. Buy the original manufacturer's battery. Don't buy some generic battery offline. If your battery costs $80, spend the $80. Don't pay $5.95 for a battery, because I guarantee you that is one that's probably going to have a problem.
Yeah. Lithium batteries are no joke. As a matter of fact, there was a plane, a big jet coming from the Orient had a little load of lithium batteries along with a bunch of passengers. And there was a water leak in there, and it kept leaking on that crate of batteries. And it finally got into one of those lithium batteries and got to lithium, and it exploded, and that plane came down and crashed, and I think all died on that. And that was, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, there's an unusual fish. It doesn't give its name right now, but when it has sex, it creates a new species of another fish.
Well, that's mind-boggling. So every time these fish multiply, they create a whole new another fish. So, boy, oh boy, that's confusing to even think about, Gary.
Oh, gee, wouldn't that be? And then the other day, a guy caught 100 and some pound trout.
Wow, that had to be like a lake trout or something. That's a big trout. I couldn't imagine. Wow.
Well, can you imagine how much damage a ferret could do to inside of a car?
I got to tell you something. Those ferrets they're a wily one. They get wound up, and it's like you wind them up and let them go. They can do some damage. Yeah, I could see them doing some serious damage. And they're quick and they're fast. And that's why I said, these ferrets they're related to the mongoose, and with all these snakes, I think I had thought came across my mind, but then like you said, you're sleeping, maybe it starts gnawing on your toe because they're destructive sometimes.
Oh, they could be. Well, a Japanese man, 71 years old, was arrested for calling the phone company not one, not two, but 24,000 times to complain about his phone service.
Oh my goodness, 24,000 times. When does it become harassment? Is it 3, 10, or is it 20,000? I mean, that's way beyond the limit of norm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, big shout out to our reporter, Ryan. He'll be on, by the way, tomorrow to, talk about UFO reports. He's on chat. He's one of the few people who can figure out how to do that. Again, I'm going to try to work this weekend on putting chat on our website, depending how things go. It's been really hectic here at the compound. But if people haven't noticed, if you go to the website, I've expanded the size of the website. And I constantly now, every day, put new stories up, paranormal stories, weird stories, earth changes, and things like that. Check our website out at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Well, an English dog turns on the microwave, and it creates sparks and burns the house down.
Oh, boy. That was another thing I was going to ask you. Have your dogs learned to cook something in the microwave yet? They seem to know how to get it out of the refrigerator.
Well, they actually haven't been bugging the refrigerator too much, other than you have to be careful going in the kitchen because the thing is like full of ice cubes all over the floor all the time. They figured out how to use the ice dispenser.
Oh, boy.
And that's not the bad part. They now know how to get above the stove, get into the cupboards, take the loaf of bread out, and I'll tell you, the one dog is so smart. He'll open up the bread, take out what he wants, and then divides it to his sister.
Well, at least he's not stingy. I'm waiting for the day when you tell me what they've learned how to climb on things like the counter and other things to get what they want.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. They're just so big. But
yeah, they are big.
Oh, yeah, and loud, as you found out. But you know what? Yeah. A Canadian boy, 8 years old, goes to a hockey tournament, and he wins. He wins a raffle. Now, what does he get? He gets $200 worth of pot products.
Wow.
And his grandfather freaks out because why would you give an 8-year-old, marijuana products? Yeah,
that's kind of very questionable and sketchy at best. I mean, it's sketchy at best for anybody to be passing out to anybody, but to an 8-year-old, yeah, you're really going to cause some negative attention to yourself. I don't know what that guy's not thinking either.
South Carolina, guy goes into the local gas station to buy his beer, spends $1 for a raffle ticket, or whatever you want to call it, and wins $500,000 jackpot. Now,
I was waiting till I hear another lottery winner today. Every day there's somebody that's either, backed into buying a ticket or forced to buy one for change, or it's a first-time buyer, and they're winning these jackpots, Gary, all along the seaboard somewhere or wherever.
Yeah, you can think he's set for buying beer for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's for sure. My goodness. He's got enough for a lifetime supply.
Do you got a real quick story? We got a couple minutes. I ran out. That's all my wacky news. That is it. That's more. I've been saving these for the past week just so I could do one for over 45 minutes.
I was going to say, that is a lot of wacky news you just ripped off right there. I don't know what that is. Well, I know there's Jupiter. This ain't wacky, but Jupiter, they say, has more water than they thought from before. Now, the Juno probe, and it has detected more hydrogen and oxygen on Jupiter's atmosphere that scientists expected, and the ingredients for water make up a mere 25% of the atmosphere over Jupiter's equator. Now, that's a reversal in the Galileo's probe findings, which indicated far less water than scientists anticipated. In fact, 10 times less. Now, they are now studying if Galileo just sampled a very dry spot on Jupiter or if there's something wrong with it. And more data might shed light on the puzzle when Juno does another flyby, and that's on April 10th. And I've often wondered, Gary, with some of these moons from these planets, if they can, if there's life on them. Even Mars and all their moons that go around Jupiter, Saturn, and all these planets. Some of their moons are pretty good size, and they have a lot of ice on them. So, and one of the theories is there may be something living below the ice.
Well, it could be. I mean, Mars, did you see the picture I posted up on our website today? There's these holes in Mars, and they've been getting pictures of it recently. And what's interesting about these are like lava tubes. And they said that these tubes go deep into Mars. And maybe there could be some type of life in these tubes because it protects whatever underground from the radiation. Also says if we ever do go to Mars, we could use some of these tubes, because they're good sized tubes, to, build a base and be protected against the radiation because it'd be underground.
Yeah, I did see that. As a matter of fact, I might even touch on one of my news stories. But yeah, there's a lot to that. And you're right. That was one of the theories, is maybe if we ever do get there, to maybe explore, going in there and maybe setting up a base in there, like you're saying, because it may protect from the radiation. There may be water sources in there. And that's one of the things, if we ever, if we go to Mars, we're going to have a source of water other than just recycling water, because that only goes so far from what they're saying.
Well, the problem is, too, they talked about some of the water on Mars, at least what they have sampled, is highly radioactive. The ice caps on Mars is highly radioactive. So the water, it could be on Mars. Water, if you just poured water on the ground on Mars, it would instantly evaporate. So because the atmosphere is so thin, it's nothing to keep water from being on the ground. As soon as it would thaw out, it would immediately start evaporating.
Wow, that's a good point. Good point. Yeah, and so that's an issue right there. That is an issue. And I think they do say that Mars had a, something like our planet at one time years ago, but radiation. And remember, they was talking about setting off nuclear bombs or something on Mars, wasn't they, on the ice caps?
Well, something happened at Mars. We don't know what happened. Maybe Planet X went by at one time and it sucked out the atmosphere. Maybe they got to advance. Maybe we are the Martians ourselves. Maybe they left a group of them, it's like we want to go explore space, correct? Yeah. Well, maybe Martians were far more advanced than us. Maybe they went and did. Maybe a group of them left the planet before it, died.
It very well could be. That's one of the plausible theories that several people have brought it to attention within the last few years. And who knows? I know that there's probably life there. I don't know if it's intelligent, probably, microbial.
I don't know. I still know from watching a movie on Venus. You go there, there's beautiful women walking around.
Isn't that where Zsa Zsa Gabor is the leader?
I don't know if it was Zsa Zsa or Eva.
Yeah.
It could one of the two. They look the same to me.
Yeah, she's the leader. You're right. I've seen that same movie you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. That was expensive to make movie.
Yeah, tomorrow, after your newscast, we have Ryan coming on. He's going to be talking about UFOs and sightings and aliens, and maybe we might even get a few cryptics out of him of reports. That's going to be cool. He's going to be on for a half an hour tomorrow. And, we're stepping up the game here on the show. As you know, we are now heard on 1380 AM, 105.3 FM, breaking news, stimulating talk radio. And we're heard now on replays in Melbourne, Australia. And we're working on getting a few more stations. If you live in an area that you don't hear us on the radio and you want to, well, there's a little trick to it. You get